Shemai GTA chums, this is a top 10 video about the best, the very best British cars in GTA Online. So it's not just about the best performers, it's also about the best British cars with regards to history. And the most historic of all has got to be the Mini. It's the Austin or British Leyland Mini here. Some people might recognise it off Mr. Bean's Stupid Vacation or something, some crap films where Rowan Atkinson debases his comedy genius with stupid Laurel and Hardy nonsense. But this car is good. It's a weenie icy classic, and it's only about 300 grand from Southern San Andreas Auto. But as a classic car, which is the real reason why it was in here, it was a winner of the 1964 Monte Carlo Rally. It was a rally champion. How does it even do that in the temperatures? But this revolutionised small car design from thanks to British engineering skills. And yeah, I put some off-road rims on it to make it a bit more realistic. But it's a front-wheel drive car, and it has a really nice, it's a crammed-in engine for such a small, lightweight car. It's actually a death trap. You know, you wouldn't want to be driving one of these in modern life, because you have a crash, you're probably going to die. It's a Mini, that is life. But if you look at the internal view as well, on the real original Mini, it was so low down that it felt like you're driving 60 miles an hour when you're driving at 30. It was scary as hell, and there is no legroom for any lanky beasts. Yeah, it's an awesome car. So for that reason, and for that reason it's 300 grand. There's some decent customization as well. That reason, but don't forget there's the other IC, which is based on the Mini, the German Mini. There is a German Mini. Do not buy the German Mini. That is terrible. That is wrong. It's a BMW Mini. You know what I'm talking about. They're completely different cars. So do not buy that one. Next, that was number 10, by the way. Now in at number 9 then, next, we have the stunning 80s beauty that is the Lotus Espirit. And this is the classic. And we also have the other Lotus Espirit, the Stromberg, which goes underwater. It's from James Bond. Yeah, it's that one, the earlier version of the Lotus. Come on, get out of my way, man. But this is the one that you buy stylistically. It's called the Ardent. It costs you about $1 million in war stock. It is semi-weaponized because it has a front-mounted guns, which are pop guns. It does not have bulletproof windows though, so that is pretty terrible, pretty unforgivable for Rockstar. But maybe they hadn't invented them back then. It's an old school car. Been around the game a long time. It handles nicely. It handles good, so it's great for. I don't think you can use it in sports classics for racing, so it's entirely useless as far as a GTA vehicle is concerned, because there's not much weaponization and you can't race it. So, but it's a great car. It's a great car. It's a great car because it's British. It's classic. You know, it doesn't do what it's supposed to do. It's British. So yeah, if you're a collector of cars, and British cars in particular, you're going to want to get this 80s Lotus Esprit, and get the other one as well, because that is also excellent. Good weaponized vehicle. Yeah, it's not as good as the Toreador, but you know, it's classic. It's from Bond. Why wouldn't you buy it? It drives nicely as well. It grips good. What the hell was that? It's got a bit of clipping on the ride height there. Just got the curb. Amazing stuff, amazing. I thought you could just drive over curbs. Anyway, great car in at number 9 there. The Rapid GT Classic is in at number 8. This is such a classy car. It's based on the Aston Martin V8. Yeah, some people say it looks a little bit like a Mustang. I mean, they do look similar anyway, the earlier Mustangs and the earlier Aston Martin V8s, Vantage, but this is an amazing little car, and it also performs really well for sports classics. You could race it, but I quite like the idea of just swanning around in it. It is a bit slippy though, as you could tell there. So you need to, like every Aston Martin, you need to nurse it around the corners. You need to get the handle of it before you get out there and start mincing it up in a session. This car, you know, it's a classic British car. Hand built with walnut dash. You can see that from the outside. Very nice car indeed. So yeah, what have we got to say about it otherwise? It's just great, classic. Oh, you want to buy it? Legendary Motorsport, 885 grand. It's a bargain. So get amongst and make a name for yourself. Let's have a look at the internals. Very nice. And let's do a power slide around the corner. Oh, there we go. Beautiful, beautiful car. That's number 8. We have a serious car at number 7. It's the Ocelot Jugular, or the Jaguar XE Project 8, I think it is. Oh, listen to that engine. It is a maniac machine. It's so fast, accelerating, top speed. It's in the sports class, and it's great for a drag race. The cornering, it is a bit slippy, so that's what kind of lets it down and doesn't allow it to compete entirely in the sports class, but it's still remarkably fast for a 4-door car. One of the fastest, if not the fastest 4-door cars in the game. It sounds so awesome as well. One of the best sounding cars in the game. So well deserved British car at number 8 there. Look at that. Did I say 8? No, I meant number 7. Of course it's higher than 8. What a car. Jaguar. Nice. Let's have a look at the internals as well. Let's have a quick look. It sounds like a turbo tractor. Let's have a look at the internals just to show you, get a feel for that. Very nice. You can change the two-tone. Oh yeah, customization wise, you've got some of the best customization in the game, because you have the Wasabi Kitty livery. You need to put that on, not this Ocelot livery, which is not as good, but it's still good if you like that kind of thing. But the Princess Robot Bubblegum one is far better, of course. Onwards to the next. In at number 6 is the TVR Sagaris, known in GTA as the Verliera, for 700 grand from Legendary Motorsport. This is, of course, a sports car that's been custom built in Blackpool. Now, this is a local area to me, known very well. You know Blackpool if you know Blackpool if you know Blackpool. However, they were also built on license in the USA. Was it New York or Chicago, one of them places? So maybe GTA thinks it's a USA car, but it really isn't. It's, was it Trevor and something vehicles? It's Trevor vehicles basically. So it's well deserved on being in this game just for being called Trevor. But the guy was called Trevor. But yeah, it's a nice car. It looks nice on the inside, you know, decent enough, and the customization is okay, but it already looks beautiful, you know, and it's one of the best sounding cars in the game, and probably the best sounding car in this British collection. A solid British car here, drives nicely, and you can power slide around corners nicely. Got a good bit of grip as well. That is not demonstrating that very well, but it just drives so nice. It's a fun car to drive. It's pretty quick as well, but you know, in the sports class it's obviously not a world leader, but we do have one world leader in there, its class. Anyway, on to the next car. In at number 5 is the Retinue Mark 1, based on the Ford Escort Mark 1. This is a beast, a rally beast from the 1970s, a world rally champion, and for that reason it's in. There's also the Retinue Mark 2, which is also excellent. I was confused about which one to put in, but this is in my opinion, it's the best looking version. Definitely the best looking Escort out of the two, and I love taking it on rallies because it's just so planted, so stable. You can get around corners very nicely. You know, who needs all-wheel drive? It's a classic. It is such a classic. It's so good. It makes mincemeat of the dirt. Look at that cornering skill there. Amazing car, and you need to buy it. It's only 600 grand from Southern San Andreas Auto. Far cheaper than the Retinue Mark 2 as well, which is like about $1 million. Mixed car as well. You can go on the road, but it's also the car that was in Too Fast and Furious, or Fast and Furious, one of those Fast and Furious is. So for that reason you might also want to buy it. But it's a British car. Yes, it's an American manufacturer, but it was sold in Britain. It was a British rally success. That's the way it is. So I'm claiming this one because I remember it as being a British car. Also had the Trent engine as well as the Cosworth, which were the British engines there. So for that reason, it's one of ours. We're into the high rollers with the ProGen Emirates, 2.7 million. Of course, it's the Emirates. And what the hell is that doing there? That's not an Emirates. This is a McClaren Senna in real life, and it's one of the fastest cars in the game, or the fastest if you're on GTA in the old gen or PC. Still a contender. It's rear-wheel drive, a mighty fine car. Got good customization, and it's just a great car for GTA purposes and in real life. You know, it's a supercar, an uber car, whatever you call them these days. Hypercar, ridiculous. Supercar, innit? I mean, look at that. Amazing. The sun's about to go down, but you'll have so much fun with this car. Yes, I think the Krieger is better, I've got to be honest, but they're both good. This is rear-wheel drive though. The Krieger's four-wheel drive. They offer something different, but they're both excellent little performers. Very nice cars indeed, and you want to have both of them basically, because they're both the best. But get them on discount, of course. They're £3 million. Come on. You've got to be serious in this game. You don't go wasting your money on stuff when you can get it on discount. And these are regularly on discount as well. Let's have a look at the internals just to show you those. It's a supercar. It looks great. It looks the part. It's a very nice looking car. I like the windows and the doors there, so you can look down below, see people's feet or something from the outside. I don't know. Very nice car indeed. Next, that was number 4 as well. Before we get lost. In at number 3 is the Champion, and this is the Victor, the Aston Martin Victor. Cost about 2.8 or 2.99 million actually from Legendary Motorsport, but it's part of the agency DLC, therefore you can put Imani-Tech on it. Imani-Tech, missile lock-on jammer, slicky mines. You've also got some bulletproof window, bullet resistance. They'll take about 15 or 16 rounds. It's an amazing car. It does power slides really well as well. Yes, it's not as cheap as the Buffalo STX, but the STX, yeah, it's cheap, but it's good. But they do different things. This is faster than the STX. Cornering wise, it's a bit more slippy, but you do power slides. Just have some fun, man. It's not all about driving in it on the track and doing races and winning them. Yes, it's in the super class, which is why Bruffy goes on about it being so terrible. As a racer. It's nothing to do with having fun, that. Bruffy doesn't do fun, he does racing and takes it a bit too seriously sometimes. But me, yeah, I just like to just drive around in this thing, because it's such an immense amount of fun. So is the STX, Buffalo STX is as well, that's why I've got both. They're both excellent cars, but this I think is the better one, that's why I've got 2 of these and only 1 STX, even when they're on offer. That is number 3, yes. So number 2 is going to be also in the Penthouse Garage. Yes, here is number 2. It is the ProGen GP1, the McClaren F1. The car that changed everything from one perspective. The world of supercars went into megacars, or whatever they call hypercars. This was the one that was smashing 200 miles an hour on the track, 200 odd, I can't even remember the speed now. But it's a legendary car, it really is. There's only one car better than this, because it's number 2. It's number 2, there's only one car better than it. But as far as looks, you can make it look just like the F1, with one slight problem, that it doesn't have the central driving position. Yes, the original had 3-seater, we're not asking for that, but if you'd have made it a 1-seater, that would have been more realistic. Come on man, get out of my way, because you look at the view. Let's have a look at the view. Mighty fine interior, but we should have a central driving position. That's wrong. That is my main gripe with this. But it's a cheap car. It's like, no, I mean, it's a ridiculous price. I think generally it's about 800 grand or something stupid on Legendary. So yeah, you want to just buy it full price, but it's often on discount, so just buy it on discount. The other gripe that I have with it, now this is mainly in here at number 2 because of its legendary status as a car, as a track car, as a as a car that you can purchase if you're a mega rich person. 'Cause it was the first of those mega rich cars, $1 million or whatever it was, £1 million, so more than $1 million. Great car though, great car. Rear wheel drive as well. No, none of that all wheel drive nonsense you had with other cars in supercars. So yeah, overall I'd say performance wise it could be a bit better. Straight line performance is alright, it could be faster. The bends, it's a bit more tricky, there's a fair bit of understeer which I don't quite like considering it's a track car. I think performance wise it could be a bit better, but it's still number 2, it's British cars. Number 2 as far as British cars are concerned, McClaren F1, it's going to be, I mean that should be number 1 of cars, surely. What could possibly be number 1? In British style, at number 1 in the rain we have the Ocelot Penetrator, which is the Jaguar XJ220. Now this was a concept car designed by a load of Jaguar engineers who wanted a V12 four-wheel drive supercar, but the taste for supercars had gone downhill in the early 90s. So it turned out to be a V6 turbocharged car. Now this is a V12, the engine that you see in the back there. There's a lot of customization to that engine that you can change. So I think this is what the car was meant to be, which is why it's actually faster than the GP1, as in the McClaren F1, which cost 1.2 million. The McClaren F1, I may have made a mistake in the previous. This only cost 880 grand, and it's more similar to the original price of, I think it was nearly 500 or 600 grand, UK money that is. Get out of my way, man. But it drives better. Not only the speed, it handles better. It corners better. It's got less understeer. Goes where you want it to go. It's a much more satisfying driving experience. In fact, track time is similar to the Champion, which is a faster car in a straight line. So yeah, and a newer car as well. But it's about nearly a second faster than the GP1. But the real reason is the history of it. So imagine Jaguar trying to build a car in the economic kind of semi-depression there of the 90s. And what they did, they put a cheapo V6 engine in there, but they did everything on the cheap with this car to try and make a supercar, the supercar that it was. It became the fastest car for 1 year only at 212 mile an hour. Yes, that time got smashed by the McClaren F1, but the McClaren had everything. They threw everything at the McClaren. You know, it was a track car. This was like a posh person's car, but that was meant to go fast, and it was meant to go on the track as well. Of course it was, but there were different variants of it. But it's an excellent car in GTA as well. It's cheap, you can get it around the session quite quickly because it's a quick car, it's easy to drive, and all those reasons why it's number one, but mainly that I think it was the first hypercar, basically, arguably the first hypercar there, and it was the car that changed everything. It's what got McLaren going. It got them started. It's just that they did it in at the wrong economic time, which is why it never took off. Try and buy these now; they're like rocking horse shit because they didn't sell as many because nobody wanted them. It's like, what? Ridiculous. Anyway, that is your top 10 cars, because this is numero uno in the British reign. So I think at this point we need to remember why I've released this video, because it's all about being British, and these cars are one part of the British identity. Another part, which is a bigger part, is Queen Elizabeth II, who very tragically died, sadly. I mean, she was 96, she had a good time, but but she didn't have a good time. She did have a good time as well, but she had a good innings. But I think that's kind of wrong to say that in a way, because she's been around for so long, you kind of got used to it. She became part of the cultural heritage of being British, and now she's gone, it's like we've lost a bit of our identity. Probably Canada too, maybe a bit Australia, maybe a bit New Zealand, other colonies, maybe USA, maybe some people over there, have a strong association. I know that a lot of Americans like to come over here and see the royals and go and visit things. So I think there's a lot of people who were touched by her through life. So for that reason, I think what this video is really about is taking a moment's silence just to respect her, and maybe say a prayer if you say prayers, and just reflect on yourself really, and just try and think of nothing for about 1 minute if we can. Okay, so let's get the stopwatch out, and we're starting the minute now. A reflection of silence. Go. And we're back. Thank you very much, Dom, for respecting that silence. He waited for the minute to be up. And thank you very much as well for watching this video if you watched me right to the end. That shows that you're a person of conscience of decency. Very much modelled on the Queen, no doubt, who was one of the best of us and a truly great leader. And hopefully the future king will be able to perhaps not step into her footsteps, but do his bit for the country, for the world. And overall, let's give him a bit of a chance to mourn his mother, who is lost. But thank you very much for watching, and just have a great day, you know, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, and give me a comment on just your thoughts about anything at all. You know, it's fine, you don't have to talk about the cars, that's fine as well. But overall, thank you very much for watching. Have a great day, everybody.